also I think I want to like I'm debating bedazzling my headphones.
You should totally do that.
Welcome back to the Real Couchwives podcast, where we overanalyze all things Bravo. And not only are you welcome back, we're welcome back too. What?
We have missed you. We have so many things to talk about, but don't worry, we are here to bring you all the Vanderpump Rules news, all the Love Island news. I want to make a joke about having all the Jello shots and all the artichoke dip.
All the avocado toast.
That was probably a little too
No,
niche.
it's good. It's deep cut for those that know.
Those are Vanderpump Rules quotes.
Yeah,
if you
specifically like Ariana Madix quotes, really, right?
Yeah, really. So as always, a few weeks can't go by without Vanderpump Rules news coming out, and we did get a few hot topics that have come out that we want to talk about, and then we just want to talk about the fandomonium around Love Island, the reunion, how we feel about it now that everything's kind of like settled and we've seen, you know, all the pre-reunion interviews, all the post-reunion interviews, like what's going on. So
plethora of interviews, like so many interviews. It's insane.
I've watched so many interviews. I can't even tell you the amount of interviews that I've watched.
Nick Viall has been busy, guys.
Not just
been
Nick,
booked and busy,
but also like so Johnny Bananas from the Challenge has also been interviewing them.
Interesting. Is he a podcaster now?
He seems to be when he's like not on the Challenge.
Interesting.
There's also Call Her Daddy, who's done some, like not true. Skinny but not fat has done some. Like they've just been like everywhere.
Oh, true. Interesting. All right, cool. Good for them.
Right? I'm excited. So the first thing that comes out is the Valley. We find out that Jax is like not filming a little bit of it because he's going to a a health
rehab kind of rehabilitation center.
Is this like kind of like what Raquel went to like that type of thing?
I think it's definitely like more like geared towards like mental health, less like, you know,
substance abuse or
exactly, there you go.
Right. So he will be missing from some of the Valley.
Yes.
And then we find out that Lala and Scheana apparently are going to come in to take his place.
Yeah, because that's a gap that only they could fill, apparently. I don't know.
So confused. And then we later find out that Brittany has officially filed for divorce from Jax, and apparently on camera he served the papers.
Got served on papers. Apparently at Jax's Studio City too. So like actually at his like
was it really?
Yeah. There's a rumor also that was like, I mean, it all feels like very like, you know, done for TV, but there's like a rumor that like he'd already been served the papers, but then they like redid it at Jax's Studio City, I guess, to like really rub it in.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, who knows, right? Like, it's very possible, but who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so first, Lala and Scheana coming onto the Valley.
No. Literally, nobody asked for this. This is the last thing that any of us wanted. It's so upsetting. It's just... And, like, I think the annoying thing is that, like, all of the fans are like, why? Like,
well, this is it. Like, I'm really confused because, like, there was a pretty like vocal kind of reaction that we may or may not have been part of on like to Lala and Scheana coming off as fake this season. Like people were not super happy with them on Vanderpump Rules. I don't understand why the producers are like, you know who would be really good on the Valley, and like this show that would the Valley, the show that was not supposed to do well. Like none of us wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
This show that somehow was also just lightning in a bottle that was doing really well with the cast that it had. We're gonna put these two people on it that people are super angry about. And like people who we are now questioning their authenticity. And I feel like what was making the Valley so good was like that it was capturing these really authentic moments, be it very insanely messy.
Well, and that's just it. They like at the end of VPR season 11, they like kind of like went out of their way to like say that like no additional cast members were coming onto the Valley, that like you know, it was closed, they were happy, they were going to proceed with season 2 as normal. Obviously with Jax like leaving, like maybe they felt like there was a bit of a gap, and I can see the logic of like why they would be like, well, you know, the seasoned veterans, let's say, of VPR that make sense to go onto this show are Lala and Scheana, but like the cast, like the fan reaction to that cast last year, like those two in particular, like really don't make any sense.
No.
And I just, I am confused. I'm surprised. I'm not. Maybe I'm not surprised, but I'm confused.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Also, I'm sorry, we've said it before. We've questioned the future of Vanderpump Rules a bunch of times now throughout season 11.
Yeah.
But this, to me, it feels like a nail in a coffin.
Right. Yeah. Well, that and the fact that like there's now, I think it was first DeuxMoi, and then it was surrules on Instagram that was like basically like saying like, I think DeuxMoi was saying like full cast shakeup, full like, everything is changing. We're never going to see that cast again. And then I think surrules was saying no, we're going to get one more season with this cast. It'll wrap it up, and then anything going forward is going to be the new VPR cast of kind of following, people that work for Lisa Vanderpump. I think we know that that does not work because Vanderpump Villa like is the same premise and just had absolutely no traction. Nothing happened to it this year. So
Vanderpump Villa was so bad. I literally only watched one episode. I could not do it. I could not do it. It was the most forced thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because the people are taking notes.
Yeah.
Like they just like, you could tell that these are all people who want to have fame, and like they come in and they just like, everything was so exaggerated. Like it felt like they were like, I want to make a name for myself, and I'm gonna do it by like causing this huge like screaming and shouting like mess over nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. And the fact that they got picked up for a season 2 with Stassi Schroeder, I think is like the only thing that like is kind of redeeming to it, is like they're like, okay, well, let's like just like throw another person that people love into the VPR universe and like hope that that like helps get this season 2 going and have something happen. But like,
wait, is Stassi like full like continuously on season 2? I thought she was just like making an appearance.
Oh, I thought she was like attached to season 2, like it was like she was gonna be in it like full time.
Oh, I thought she was just getting her own show.
Vanderpump Villa is returning for season 2 with a new addition. Welcome back, darling.
Oh, I really thought she was just going to be there for a second.
Yeah, like I don't think it's just going to be her just there for one episode or something.
Right.
A little throw in.
Okay, that would change things a little, but not really. I don't know.
They have to. It's like a Hail Mary, right? Kind of like
they're
like, let's just throw this person in that we've been like holding back and like haven't been able to like use, and see what magic comes from it, because that there's going to be people that will flock to it because Stassi's in it now for the first time.
Yeah.
What has it been since 2020? I guess since she was last on our screens. I feel like this is a bit of a tangent. I'm sorry. I don't know. What were we talking about? Before Vanderpump Villa, Stassi. Nope.
Oh, you were saying that you can't just like refresh Vanderpump Rules with a different cast. Like it's gonna lose all of its magic.
That's just it. Like that's what we kind of are seeing from Vanderpump Villa. It's not working to just do that, to just hope that you can kind of like recreate the magic.
The only thing
I
is
don't know why they would do that with VPR. Like,
it's true, but it's like even Lisa is putting it on a lot too. So I feel like if we went back to VPR, it would, because at least I'm thinking maybe VPR, okay, like we at least know the establishments. There would probably be some, like the main cast members would probably still be there in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Lisa would still be there in that same environment, but like, I don't.
Yeah, it's true. It's just the back alley that we know and love, and so like put everybody in there. But I think that's kind of what they tried to do with season 8, right? Like they were like, oh, we're gonna just like add in some new cast members and hope that it like shakes things up enough that it's like
true
new blood.
And we were like, no, we hate this. What are you doing? Get these people off my screen.
Like Charlie was the only one that got another like season or 2, unfortunately. So, and even then Charlie's gone, and Charlie doesn't even think that it's worth the money for her. So like, what's
That's true.
Like, are you really
maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe Peter will finally get paid and put on the show.
It's time for a Peter's Madrigal spin-off.
Peter's like, this is my time. Who else can I date? Or pretend to date?
Yeah, exactly. Pretend to date at this point. Well, even so, did you hear that the Peter rumor that he started about TomTom not like we're so behind on the times, folks. But about like TomTom like no longer being TomTom and it being rebranded to Pump, and like he didn't even think the TomTom sign is out there anymore.
Yes, has anyone confirmed that? Is
No.
anyone in LA right now and can go to TomTom/Pump and tell us?
That's just it. When that came out, I was 100% expecting like something about her style, kind of like, you know, status updates where people would like walk by the storefront just to like see like what's going on. But I haven't seen anything come out of that from TomTom. Maybe that would be the subject matter for Vanderpump Rules season 12. It could be like Lisa fighting with the Toms about whether or not it's still going to be TomTom or if it's going to be Pump. And
do you think it's true?
There. I could see it being true. I could see Lisa wanting it to be Pump and not be, because everything else is named after her, right?
But it's just like, why now? Like, I feel like if she were to do this, the damage has really already been done. Like, this would not change anything in my eyes. Like, we've just watched an entire season of this woman trying to rehab Tom Sandoval. Yeah. Why would she like go through that whole season and then be like, I can no longer support the Toms. It is too late. This is my break.
Too late.
I mean, maybe it's the ratings. Maybe she heard the outcry after the season and was like, "Oh dear,
right?
I've made a horrible mistake. I've backed the wrong horse."
Yeah, exactly. The only brand that I can really throw my weight behind is my own brand,
or something about her.
Or a Las Vegas one. I could be super interested in a Las Vegas like style. Like Vanderpump Rules style Las Vegas TV show or something, like something about that could be kind of interesting.
I am surprised they haven't done that. Like they had that one Vegas girl who was like Scheana 2 or something, who like hooked up with like one of the new people. That was the storyline, Max or something.
Max, I think. Yeah, because she looked like Scheana and he hooked up with her.
Yes, what a fascinating storyline that
was. But even, you know, they tried Oliver in season 10. Like he was, even though I think he was from the Paris one instead of the Caesar's Palace one, but still, you know, that's just it. She has like so many of those locations now in Las Vegas.
True.
There has to be something interesting happening there. Maybe Las Vegas is too hard to like.
Unsure, but I don't know. I'm just like. I don't know what this is going to mean for the Valley. I don't know what this means for Vanderpump Rules.
Just I did appreciate that. So after surrules, it's really hard to say that. Like posted about that and how like it's the end of the show and like it's over. I think he's posted a comment that was something like, "Oh, you just know everything, don't you?" or something, right? Like something kind of like sarcastic and like.
Wait, who is he?
James Kennedy. Oh, sorry. Did I
James.
Say that?
You might. I could have missed it. I'm so tired.
I'm so confused.
It's been a long week.
I was just struggling over the surrules part. I couldn't even get to the James Kennedy part. Yeah, James Kennedy posted on the post about how he was like, oh, like you know, where is this coming from? Like the, you know, no substantiation whatsoever. And I think James is probably, you know, he's our easiest leak. He was the real leak for all the truth that came out from
it's
Scandal.
So true. So. It's so true. We trust James Kennedy now, which is a wild turn of events.
A wild thing that happened, 100%.
I can't help but think, we have said this before, but like again, if this is the end, like if season 11 was our last authentic VPR, that would be a tragedy. Like that would be like just I don't know.
Yeah, even going through this summer and like, you know, knowing that like all these birthday parties and all these things that have been captured for like the last like 13 years like just weren't being captured this year, right? Like, and they did, you know, they took a little sabbatical in between season 9 and season 10 and it made season 10 all that much better. So maybe there is hope still for season 12 of Vanderpump Rules to kind of come back better and stronger, or at least just, you know, it's new and different. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on how that unfolds.
It would be cool. At least we'll get to see some like new seasons. Like maybe we'll see
Yeah.
like the fall and the winter. And,
Who
like
knows? Maybe other people have birthday parties that aren't in the summer. When is Kiki's birthday? She strikes me as somebody who's not.
a summer baby.
Really, she is Capricorn. I'm not
I'm
sure.
a Capricorn.
Is she a
Like,
Pisces? What is she?
I
Who
don't
are
know.
you?
Who are who
Who
are
are
you?
you?
So
Yeah.
we can hope that VPR will be coming back. And then the
Mhm.
other piece of news that we just talked about was so Brittany has finally filed
Yeah.
for divorce from Jax.
I know. It's crazy. I've just done a rewatch of season 4, 5, 6. Now all of 7. It's gone
Oh
by
my
very
god.
fast. Yeah, I was working really hard during our summer break, and
Doing research.
doing research. Yeah, exactly. To keep fresh, and yeah, like just like reliving their relationship and the fact that they kind of like they did get married. They did have to deal with all of this cheating and all of the stuff that was going on, and just like feeling like for the first few seasons that it's like absolutely crazy that they stayed together. And then in season 7 they do kind of like they do kind of convince you pretty well that like yeah, this is a good match, these people should be together. um but at the same time there's still definitely some like red flags there, and like then we see
Yeah.
catch up with them in like the Valley season 1. You're just like, oh no, you guys should not have stayed together, this is not
It's I mean it is pretty crazy. I don't Season 7 isn't as fresh in my mind, but like
yeah.
I do really remember there's like
It's like
this
when
season.
they get engaged and they have their engagement party.
Okay, yeah, so that is a
Yeah.
one. Because season 6 was just like so bad for them. Like literally,
Yeah.
you have like Jax cheating, you have Rotten Hale,
Yeah.
like they're like broken up for a hot second,
Yeah.
and then the fact that literally the next season they're engaged, like the
Yeah.
first episode, you're just like,
Yeah.
wait, what did I
Whoa.
miss?
Yeah, exactly. I know. And they kind of like talk about it a little bit on in the reunion in season 6, because like literally the last like 2 episodes of season 6 he breaks up with her. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, okay, I'm gonna like go off and live my single girl life and like live my best life, and like thanks a lot for nothing, basically. Thanks for the boob job, I think is her quote.
that I didn't even want this size.
And then but then yeah, by season 6 reunion his dad's passed away, but we find out that like they'd already been starting to get back together, and they'd never like lived separately, so like they were sharing the house still together, and like she was going to Kentucky and he was going to Florida or whatever. um and then they were already back together even before his dad died. And I think they just kind of like just they were just attracted to each other, right? Like the magnet thing, like it's just
Yeah.
it's easy, it's what you just go back to it, and it's maybe not the best thing. And
I was just gonna say, Jax did say like his dad passing did play a big part, though, right? Like,
oh yeah.
and she was really there for him, and like obviously
Hmm.
that's like such an incredibly tragic and horrible situation to be in, and it does
Hmm.
change a lot of things. But I know I know it makes me sound like I was there, but like they do say in the reunion, I think a lot of the friends were also a little bit concerned of like
Hmm.
if this was coming out of grief or like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
exactly. And Tom Sandoval was definitely like the biggest like kind of questioner of that, and kind of like his motives and why he was doing it and why it was happening so soon, more than anything, after his dad is passing. But yeah, they had some good times together. They had they have a beautiful son together. Like
they
you can
do,
only
right?
hope that like it's good that it run its course and that it's done, and that they're the toxicity of like what we saw last season is behind them, hopefully. And
It was so toxic.
it was bad. It was
It was
really
just
bad.
it was just really crazy too, though, because I feel like everything leading up to the Valley was like all the narrative around Jax was like how much he's changed, and like being a
Yeah.
father has changed him and he's so
No.
different.
Yeah.
And then literally you get there and he's just like so horrible
Yeah.
to her and like so toxic and like just
Yeah.
like breaking her down and like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Oh my god, yeah, every single day. And that's just it. Like, and you obviously feel bad for like Jackson, for Brittany, and like the disillusion of this marriage, and the fact that there's a child involved and has to deal with
Yeah.
all of that, and like just like the trauma and everything that can kind of happen from like a divorce. But at the same time, like watching last season, it really felt like Jax went on to the valley to get a divorce, right?
Oh
Like
my
to like
gosh, what all the housewives do.
That's what Jules did. That's what everybody does. And like yeah, like it's just like the full display of like everything that was wrong with their relationship, and specifically like all the things that he was doing to kind of like push Brittany to the edge so that she would finally just divorce him and break up with him and let him go be like, you know,
That
like
is
live his new single life. That's what it felt like.
that is really what it felt like. And it almost felt like he was trying to do a Tom Sandoval like
Oh yeah.
breadcrumb trail
Yeah.
of like
100%.
Brittany is an alcoholic and she's
Yeah.
lazy and she
Yeah.
doesn't clean and she drinks too much and
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, like she does this to herself. Like, I don't know why she does this. You're a mother. You're such a bad mother.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
just like all of
that
the mom
part.
shaming, everything. When you're just like, I'm sure more, one thing that I know is true is that Brittany is probably like the best mom ever, and like probably cares about her child so much. Like, I don't think that there's any world in which that's not the case.
I
Come on,
am
Jax.
just like kind of shocked that it did happen just because like we've seen her take him back after so much that
Yeah.
I think at least it's like, you know what? Good for her for finding the strength within herself to do this.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe having a kid has changed that, right? And she's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I can't put up with this, not just for myself, but for someone else.
Yeah, exactly. It's very different when you have like another person involved that you kind of have to like be accountable for. And it's interesting too because like so many rumors kind of like at the end of season 1 was that like this was all for show, and that this was
Oh
like
yeah.
they were just doing it for the cameras, and then in the like in between season they were actually like back together and they were like still trying to work it out. Yeah, so it's you know, they've done a very good job setting us up for season 2 and making us excited to actually watch it and kind of see it all unfold,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that's only one super messy relationship,
Yeah, exactly.
like
There's
going into the
others.
valley.
That and
Oh
the fact that
man.
like we haven't heard anything about Kristen. I'm very concerned.
I was just gonna say, when Kristen is like the one that has the least crazy things happening in her life.
Yeah.
I mean, she did seem to be at the center of a lot of the drama, like stirring the pot on things, but like
Yeah.
her actual relationship is
Yes.
like
I know.
not really one that's being commented on in the same
No,
way.
it's scrutinized. No, not at all. And if anything, like I really hope that she and Luke are very happy together.
I know.
Like, I want that for her.
I feel like she needs a Luke. Like she needs someone who's
Yeah.
just so completely not in this world and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just
So
has
removed
no
from it.
interest in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, definitely. And if anything, for like them to have like met, because like her and Tom Sandoval, I guess, met before they were like famous and before they were like, you know, anything really. They were just like two hot, beautiful people living in Los Angeles, so that makes sense. But then like James Kennedy very much used her to like get on the show and like, you know,
Mhm.
kind of took advantage of her for that. And then Carter obviously then also like took a lot of advantage of her for the fact that like he could get her to pay all of his bills and like, you know, live there
Yeah, that
rent
was weird.
free. Yeah, and just be like, you know, total like scumbag boyfriend. And then even I think that guy in between, like what was his name, Alex or something, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even remember. The
I
one who
I
like
can't remember.
Jax invited to
Yes, yeah,
boys night.
to guys night. Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like those people all used her when she was at like, you know, still like relatively like top of her fame, top of her like wealth and whatever. And like I think now with like Luke, it's like it's not about that. Like she doesn't have those things in the same way. Like
Yeah.
hopefully she'll get them back, but you know. Anyways.
I mean, we'll definitely be watching when I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited for it to come out. Let us know what you're thinking about VPR.
I'm sure you guys have many thoughts too.
Yeah. Moving on to something a little bit more fun is Love
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah, so fun. A real summer show. A good summer show, especially considering like the drought that we've had with Bravo this summer. Like there's been nothing. No content, no Winter House, no nothing for us to like tide us over with.
There's been nothing. It is so dry in the Bravo
Yeah.
land right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it is, like, concerning.
It's okay. Southern Charm's coming back soon.
Oh my god, yeah.
Salt Lake City's coming back soon.
Yes.
The programming is coming back. It's okay.
That's true. But for now, we have Love Island. So we watched those Love Island episodes at first when we did our first Love Island episode, which was kind of like a venture away for us. Since then, I have gone so deep down the rabbit hole.
Oh,
I've
really?
watched like all of the episodes. Like I said, I watched all of the interviews. Like I am so bought in to this franchise. I don't even know. I can't say the franchise yet because I
Mm,
have heard that this season was just incredible.
yeah.
But like I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And it's the weirdest social experiment ever.
It is the weirdest social experiment ever, but it's so interesting and it's so good. And like I just think that there's like something so fun about like kind of like watching all these like new people, like all of their just like different personalities and how they mesh, and like even seeing like a reunion of all these people who have like literally never done a reunion before was super fascinating.
Yes, it was. I do think that they have some things to learn about putting on a reunion.
Yes. No 15-minute like snippets of like whispering. Like don't do
For
that
like
again. That was so
with like
painful.
6 views. Like they showed us all the camera
Yeah.
views
Oh my
at the
god.
same time.
Oh my
And it was like
god.
13 minutes long or something.
It was so long. It was. I kept. I kept like something looking at my phone, and I was just like, "Is it still? How? It's been at least 10 minutes. It was a minimum 10 minutes. I think it was like 13, 15. Like it was long. It was really long.
Yeah. I'm like, how do I even unpack this
Yeah.
for
How
those
do
of
we even
you who
how do we even
haven't?
explain what this is?
So
Like,
if you're watching Love Island,
yeah.
first off, Love Island, as Iris has said in our Love Island episode, is watching The Sims.
Yes.
Like literally there's a bunch of people who are in this like Barbie dream house and we just like get to watch them 24/7
Yeah.
almost live, like because
Yeah.
they filmed the show and then they put out the episodes a few days later. Like you're literally watching it as close to real time as I think reality television can get.
Yeah.
And like they're not really doing anything, like they're literally like they wake up and they
They
do
make avocado
really
toast.
they make avocado toast, they make out a lot
They work
aggressively.
out.
They
And they
were,
talk. They
yeah.
just talk and talk and talk.
And they can only drink like a certain amount too, which I think is really interesting.
Oh, it's interesting. I didn't realize
Hmm.
that. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
they also are like basically told when they like go to bed and when they wake up.
Yeah,
Like
that's the
and
weirdest part to
but
me.
they
That's
don't know what
wild.
time it is either. Like it could be
Oh my
like 4
god.
a.m., but then they like make sure that they get like 8 hours sleep and they wake up like 8 hours after, like literally The Sims.
But yeah,
Thank
so
you.
this year they did like an actual reunion for Love Island, and Ariana, of course, as the host of Love Island, got to host the reunion.
And she did so well.
Yeah, you think she
As
did a good job?
I think she did a good job as a
Yeah.
host. I
Okay,
don't know.
cool.
I just think everything she does is good.
Yeah, I get
The
that.
the problems I have with the reunion though even go down to the seating. Like so they have everyone sitting in kind
Mhm.
of like 2 rows,
Yeah.
but then like the people who have to talk to each other, like if someone's in the front, they're talking to someone in the back, they have to like turn around
Right.
and
But
then you're just getting their back.
that happens, right? Like even like if you do like an if you think like the challenge, like those reunions and stuff were always like big groups of people and they had to like
Yeah, I guess that's true.
interact.
I guess that's true.
It's just a tricky. It's a big format, right? Like there's a lot of people because they don't just bring in like the core couples and the core kind of like cast. They bring in a lot of the like bombshells and stuff as well, like people that you probably only saw for a couple
I
episodes.
I think they pretty much brought in everyone. Like they even brought in the guy who got voted off like the first day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they
Which
brought
I
in
thought was good.
everyone and I don't feel like they needed to. Like I don't feel like there was a purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like it's like the full cast, right? To get like the full experience. It does feel like a little unnecessary, but yeah,
Or like even
I'm
the
okay with it.
bombshells, like the or no, not the bombshells, the Casa girls were there, which I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. Especially the
But
ones that cause drama, right?
yeah, but then they didn't really get much airtime at all. I don't find there was much discussion about them.
Yeah,
But what was weird was a lot of them on social media were coming out and saying like that was traumatic, like that was the worst experience, like I need a reset. And then like I don't feel like anything dramatic happened. I feel like if anything they were like we're getting bullied online, and then
yeah,
the other girls were like we're sorry, that wasn't our intention, and then they were like okay, great, thanks.
yeah. Yeah, do you have like any details on like what people were like which who was like speaking out about like getting like bullied online or like what or just kind of like even like speaking out like after the reunion um like with their like criticisms I guess of it and how it went down?
Basically all the Casa girls were just kind of like posting on social media saying that the reunion was like really difficult and like just like now they want to go back to their normal life, and like that, basically making it seem like something really bad happened at the reunion and it didn't
Mm,
go well. But
right.
I don't feel like we saw any of that.
Yeah, like it feels like either the kind of the criticism that the like Casa girls or just like any of the like kind of like maybe bombshells or whatever like mainly had, it feels like was kind of like a lot of like response to like how fans have been reacting and like what people have been doing. And like I definitely do feel like there is like a big problem online, especially
Oh
these
yeah,
days,
no,
with like
for
people just
sure.
like bullying people for like no reason. Because like legitimately, like while I love to talk shit about Tom Sandoval, I don't know Tom Sandoval. I don't know him, but I'm also not up in his comments, like, telling him to like do awful things to himself or
Well,
whatever.
but that's it. We're
Like,
not
it's
like
just not necessary.
we're not like DMing him and like writing in his
Yeah.
comments that he's like the worst person. And, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely
Like,
different. And
we can keep our thoughts to ourselves. Or to you
and
guys,
you,
but just not to him. Like, that's normal,
well,
right?
that's it. And like that's it. Like these people should never be getting that type of response from
No.
people. Like, but I don't find that any, like, there wasn't anything that happened at the reunion. Like, if anything, I felt that the OG girls were like, oh, we're really sorry, and
Hmm.
we don't want our fans to go after you like that at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it felt like it was like kind of an open and closed thing. So
Yes. So like having like a post reunion kind of like, oh, we don't like that this happened or whatever, kind of felt like it was unnecessary.
yeah, and if anything, I feel like the girls, the OGs were really welcoming to the
Yeah.
Casa girls. Obviously, okay, not the recoupling at the fire pit, because they were
Yeah,
all like
that was
really
intense.
angry.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of understandable.
But they weren't mad at them. They were mad at like
No.
their boyfriends that were like idiots who like thought like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I spent 2 minutes with this person and now I want to be coupled up with them instead."
Well, that's it. And they even said like it's not on you. Like, I'm not mad at you, to the girls. And I found
Hmm.
that like they actually were really welcoming to them and accepting of them. So it's just like, yeah, it was I don't really know where that came from. It
Yeah.
it was cute to see like all the couples that are now real. Basically all the couples are still together except
Yeah.
for Nicole and
Kendall.
Kendall.
Yeah, I know. That was, oh my God. That was really hard to watch. That was just like so awkward. Like, so basically, like, I guess a TLDR version of what's happened is like after Kendall and Nicole left the Love Island house, the villa, they got their phones back, and like basically Kendall found out that like some explicit images or whatever videos of him like were released very not nicely by somebody that he had been like I don't know, messaging, and that like basically Nicole like basically found out after the villa as well, because that's when they got their phones back, and she just hasn't been able to get over it. And I also kind of wonder how much of her like like reaction or influence of that is also just like
The fans not liking them.
not the fans not liking them, or like was she actually really in it for the love, or like what, like I don't want to like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It was really strange too that like it felt like the first time they were talking about this was at the reunion. Like, it felt like it
Yes.
was like they like, or she kind of kept it for that,
Right.
and she brought
Yes.
up the video, and it's like,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's probably like a cause for concern in their relation, or like it's a cause of like something in their relationship, so she's gonna bring it
Yeah.
up. But it's like, oh my god, it's already so embarrassing for this dude, and just like what a
Yeah.
horrible thing to be going through, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna bring it back up.
Yeah. Well,
And
you're going to bring it back up. You're not going to like understand at all. You're going to like just be really mad at him for like lying to you, because basically Kendall didn't like Kendall tried to play it off as like, oh, this was with somebody that like I was in a relationship with a couple years ago, because he thought it would like be like look better if it was like
yeah,
a more serious person versus just somebody that he was messaging.
but it was like
And
recent,
but
and
it was
like right before the
recent.
show.
Exactly. And like, it's just embarrassing and awkward for him in general. And like, you've been dating this person for a month, and now here this information is about you. You've been like thrust into like fame because of like going on this reality TV show. You've made it like this far, and yeah, here you are now. And I don't know. I also just think that like she just played it really badly. I think she like wanted to kind of like look like she was the victim, at the
For
reunion,
sure.
but if anything, she like very much came across very badly.
Well, because she just kept being like, I don't understand, like, why would you lie to me? And then he's like, I
Yeah.
was embarrassed. Then she's like, but why would you lie to me? And then everyone was like, he was embarrassed. And she's like, but why did he lie to me?
But he lied to me. That's
because
the
she
worst
like
thing
had
you can do to somebody.
she like had nothing else to go off of. So it's just like it did kind of feel like there's other reasons.
Yeah.
And she was just kind of like being inauthentic in that. And then
Yeah.
also like a few days later she posts like, Kendall broke up with me.
Yeah.
Like we were trying to work on it and then he ended it.
Like and it's just like, okay. Like, and the weird thing is that like it's, I think if anything it's like it's worked so badly against her that like he's like come out looking like, which is funny because like if she came out of the villa and found out that people thought that he was icky, he gave them the ick, or he was cringe, or like whatever it is that he was like that was wrong with him.
Yeah.
He's now kind of like swung in the opposite direction because of this, and like the kind of the way that their dynamic has played out like post Villa.
Yeah.
And I think he's actually in a much better place now than he was before, and I think that he probably like will probably be on like, you know, Love Island spin-offs, whatever. I'm sure they do like a Bachelor in Paradise
they
style,
do
like...
yeah, they do Love Island games, it looks like.
Okay,
yeah.
yes, yeah, they mentioned there's another season of that coming.
No, it's true. You know who else has actually I've changed the way I look at them is Rob. Weirdly,
Rob.
I feel like after like really watching literally like everything, I don't hate him as much as I did in the beginning.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like it's
good for you.
I feel like it's mainly his interactions with Aaron. I feel like he actually gives him good advice, and like he does try to like think about the perspective of the girls. I actually weirdly find that more like a little more like not humanizing, but like kind of. And then also the fact that like Leah doesn't hate him. I don't know. I was just like, maybe I was a little harsh.
Okay, that's fair. I think that is fair. I don't know. There's just still something in my like. I'm just like there's a sixth sense, if you will.
I mean, he's an F boy
like,
for sure.
Yeah, maybe that's it. And like, there's still just something that kind of irks me about him. But yeah, I can see how like like I don't think we need to be like going and like giving him like hate mail or like, you know, death threats or like
not to anyone for sure.
Under no circumstances.
And then the other thing that came out is Kaylor and Aaron are officially not together.
Yeah,
because and Aaron is the worst. If we want to point fingers,
and he's just the worst in like the stupidest way. Like it just gets like oh my god, dude, are you for real? Come on.
He's he really didn't make it easy on himself. Like I feel like he had so many opportunities.
He had a lot of opportunities. And for those of you who like didn't get a chance to watch the reunion, like basically before they filmed the reunion, Aaron and Kaylor met up in New York, and Kaylor was like, okay, like just to confirm, like, have you told me everything that I need to know? And he was like, yes, you know everything. And she was like, great. And then at the reunion, he like mentions another detail about his hookup with Daniela, and she's like, you never told me that. And like it just like reignites all of the like everything between them, and he's just like, oh whoops. And it's just like, dude, you don't give yourself any favors, like you don't do anything. I don't know. Is it like a himbo kind of thing? Like what's going on here?
Yeah, it was really interesting too to watch kind of like the end of that relationship being, because it's so real time, is like I find it interesting that they put them on podcasts right after the villa. Because like they haven't really had time to watch it back. No. So they're not experiencing different perspectives. But then the podcast tours go for a while. So you literally see this relationship go from like, we're kind of still gonna try to work it out. Like Kaylor was like, you know, I'm young, like this is my time to make mistakes, and like I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And then she's like, okay, so I saw some of the episodes and it's not great, but like maybe, you know, like I think I've now seen everything, and like, you know, maybe there's still a shot. And then she's like, you are disgusting. I hate you. Don't ever look at me.
Never again.
You literally saw this progression over like a few days of her doing podcasts and like
Kaylor, oh my god, it's so special. And that's the kind of like, you know, we talked about how like annoying or kind of like off-put maybe we were at the beginning of all of this because they were so young, and it's just kind of like it felt like it was like hard to kind of like tap into Love Island at the beginning because you're like, wow, these people are children. But now like that it's all played out and we've gotten hooked in and we're just like, yeah, you are a child. That is something that a child 100% would do. Like,
well, she's 21 or 22.
Baby. She's like, yeah, like either way, early 20s, way too young, and just like, you know, you couldn't pay me to be 21 again.
It's crazy. But what's weird though is that like Cordell and Serena are 22 and 24. And they feel very mature. Like they are I love them. I just love them.
Yeah, I do really like them. I really enjoy them. I'm hoping that they will kind of be like Cameron and Lauren from season 1 of Love is Blind. Like I want to see them continue and just like be strong and be cute and be adorable and like just be one of those like couples that we can look back on and be like, oh, so cute.
I feel like they have a good chance. They are very young.
They are young.
But like they already have such a good communication. Like,
and
honestly, they're impressive.
So, and I guess if you've already lived at the villa together, like maybe that doesn't feel like that big of a step.
Yeah,
like, that's pretty
cool. It's like dog years.
Yeah, exactly. It really is though. Like that's like an extra. That's at least got to be 6 months of the first 6 months of your relationship right there.
Yeah, or like a
especially
year.
Especially they like got together and then broke up and then got back together. Like I think that adds like an extra layer to it.
Right. But I also really, really, really love Kenny and Janae. Like,
yeah, oh, they're so cute. Oh my god. Even Leia and Miguel, I was really surprised that they're still together.
Yeah,
like,
they're all like
going strong.
They're all official now.
Yeah, and I thought it was so funny too that everybody has like a promposal like level. Like becoming a couple, like it's asking really for somebody to be your girlfriend. I was like, is this like an Instagram thing, or is this what happens? Is this what the kids are doing these days?
It was really cute. Kenny. I feel like Kenny is the new Steven from Laguna Beach.
Definitely, it's the Gen Z version of it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So I will be interested to know like how long this notoriety lasts. Because like they're hot commodities right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, like Liv and Kaylor have like apparently both like taken themselves out of university to like go
have they really?
Angeles. Yeah.
I saw that they were moving
at minimum one of them, if not both of them.
I thought they both graduated university.
No. One of them 100% had to like defer university to be able to like move to Los Angeles and like go live their influencer lifestyle.
Okay, so they're actually, I feel like it was on one of the podcasts they were on, but someone said that they were like the Paris and and Nicole.
Yeah,
they're like the simple life, and now like they're 100% trying to, but they're like really trying to make that their brand. Like like have you noticed there's like pictures of them just like doing common things, just like getting pizza in New York or like
I haven't seen that.
It's giving like Nikki and Nicole paparazzi.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can kind of see that. Like I get it, you know, like you have to kind of strike while the iron is hot, but like also get your education. Go back to school. Go back to the beauty school dropout, go back to high school. Good times.
Yeah. No, it was fun. Like overall, like I don't feel like we really learned anything in the reunion except for a 13-minute long
whisper talk
of
them
one of the bigger
who to let out of the villa.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is like the answer is that gave us no more clarity. Like I don't feel like it did literally anything.
Like what was it supposed to prove? Like
I know we kept saying roll the tapes, but like we didn't mean it like literally.
No. And like Love Island should have known that. Love Island should have known that like that wasn't like I think it's like oh they think they ate. It's like no, this was nothing.
But like I just find it so hilarious that not only did they show us the 13 minutes or however long it was, they showed us every camera angle.
Yeah,
like that is so hard to watch 6 different camera angles.
So unnecessary. It was really bad. So hopefully they don't do that next year because that was not needed.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Next year I want to watch it like in real time.
Yeah, me too. We'll do that.
It's probably
We'll put out
healthier.
daily podcasts.
Yeah.
Sorry, weekly podcasts about it.
Yeah, daily. I don't know.
Daily feels excessive. There's not that much going on.
Well, always let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you're watching, what you want us to cover next. We also put out a really fun video ranking the top Vanderpump Rules season, so definitely go out and check that out if you have not. Let us know if you agree with our rankings. It was really fun to go down memory lane.
And very difficult. Very difficult.
Very difficult.
To decide. Yeah.